Taurus, what's going on? I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. As always, my name is Mel and welcome to my channel, Divine Feminine Works. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. This channel is everything tarot, astrology, and spirituality. So if those are the things that interest you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, Taurus, this is the Astro Forecast and Tarot Scope for you for October 2020. Like I've been explaining to all of the signs in all of the videos I've been doing thus far, these videos are coming out a lot later than I would have liked. I am a Virgo sun and I'm all about organizing and keeping things structured. And to me, I wanted these videos to come out at the beginning of October so you had the information and you had the guidance that you needed in order to work your way through the month. I started doing these videos back at the end of September, and let me tell you, they just did not come out right. I was having technical issues, the energy was off, the readings were a bit off, and I was like, no, I can't put these out. So let me take some time out, let me rest for a bit, and when I feel guided to, redo these videos, that's when I'll redo them. And it was during this time out that I took that I realized why I was having all of these issues and why I was feeling the way that I was feeling. I took a look at the astrology and realized that since the end of September, particularly since September 29th, when Saturn went direct, it was directly square Mars in Aries, and Mars was retrograde in Aries. So what does that mean? So Saturn is part of that great conjunction that we're currently experiencing in the sign of Capricorn. It's Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto all smushed together in the sign of Capricorn. And that's what's been behind all of the turmoil, all of the upheaval that we've been experiencing in society and in our own lives, depending on where Capricorn is in your chart. Add Mars retrograde to the mix, and it's like any actions that you want to take, particularly for something that you want to do for yourself, that you want to start, any of those actions, you're going to be required to exert 10 times more effort because Mars is retrograde. So normally Mars is the planet of energy. That it's like the physical energy you need in order to do things. And with Mars retrograde, it's like you don't have that energy. You feel sluggish, you feel lethargic. And that's why my readings were off. That's why the energy was off. That's why I was experiencing technical difficulties. So it was this Mars square Saturn, Mars square the great conjunction, that was giving me such problems with respect to getting these videos out the first time. Mars is still square Saturn, and it's still square the great conjunction. But now that I know that information, and now that I know that I need to exert some extra energy, I'm moving differently, and that's why I'm able to get these videos out now. So I wanted to give you guys not only that explanation as to why these videos are coming out, we're already past midway through October. But still, I was determined. I'm I really need to get these videos out. I don't want to skip a month. So better late than never, right? But it was in examining the astrology that I was able to understand why this was happening and able to understand how to move forward. So now I'm exerting more energy. I'm double checking everything, and I'm really just trudging through it. So astrology is life. And I just wanted to give that example so that you can see how astrology plays out in real life and in real time. And speaking of astrology, let's get into the Astrology of October for you, Taurus, and how the month is going to be looking like for you. Like I said before, I'm filming this on October 18th, so we are well past the midway point of October, but I still wanted to explain the astrology of October so you can see how October has transpired. And you can take a look at what you've been experiencing since the month started and how that vibes with the astrology of the month. So I'll start out by saying that October is pretty intense. We've got 2 full moons this month as opposed to just one. A super new moon in the sign, it's in Libra, but it is right smack in between. So we start the month with a full moon. In the middle of the month, we have a super new moon, and then we end the month with a full moon. So Emotions are running high this month. It's really intense. We're making our way to eclipse season. We have an eclipse in November. We have an eclipse in December. So needless to say, the end of the year is going to be intense. There's no sugarcoating it. There's no getting around it. It doesn't mean that it's going to be detrimental. Just know that it's going to be a little chaotic. But in any event, let's get back to October because that's where we're at right now. So we started out the month with a full moon in the sign of Aries. For you, Taurus, that was happening in your 12th house. We've also got Mars retrograde in the 12th house. So there may be a lot of things going on behind the scenes that you don't even know. The 12th house is all about things that are hidden. Not only that, the 12th house governs solitude, it governs spirituality, it governs confinement, it governs hospitals, mental institutions. I know all of that sounds great, right? But it also governs sleep. So maybe a lot of you, particularly since Mars went into Aries back in June, your sleep may have been off. I'm actually a Taurus rising. So the Taurus astro forecast and horoscope always pertains to me personally. And I know that my sleep has been jacked up for months now. Like there are sometimes I'm super sleepy and I'll sleep more than 8 hours a night. There are other times I can only sleep about 2 hours a night and I'm just up and wired. And I feel like that is due to Mars in Aries. But particularly you may feel sluggish because being that it's in the 12th house, although it's the last house of the zodiac, is still very personal and you may feel like emotionally tired. I know I have, because you've got a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. A lot of you may have a lot of spiritual stuff going on in the background that your consciousness is just not aware of. But in any event, with the full moon at the beginning of the month, there may have been some sort of illumination with respect to maybe your sleep patterns, illumination with respect to a hospital matter or a prison matter. May not be you, maybe someone around you. There may have been the culmination of a particular issue pertaining to spirituality. But I feel like the overwhelming majority of you may have had some sort of spiritual enlightenment around the time of the full moon because full moons illuminate. Whatever this enlightenment was, it probably was pretty frustrating because, again, we've got Mars retrograde in your 12th house as well. So it may have been a source of frustration. It may have been a source of anger, whatever came up and was illuminated. But regardless, that was at the beginning of the month. Take a look back and see what happened around that time and see if the astrology kind of explains that. Maybe you may have an aha moment right now and be like, oh shit, something did happen around the first of the month. And now I'm understanding why. Again, it could be due to the full moon and Mars retrograde in Aries. So moving on from that, on October 4th, we had Pluto going direct in the sign of Capricorn. Pluto is part of that great conjunction happening in the sign of Capricorn of Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto. And Pluto, out of those three planets, Pluto is the last planet to have gone direct. Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter were all retrograde throughout the summer and pretty much throughout quarantine. So that being the case, when planets are retrograde, it's like they're not operating at their full potential or their full capacity. It's a time of remembering. It's a time of reevaluating. It's a time of sort of taking a step back and reassessing everything. And with the great conjunction happening in your 9th house of higher education and of long distance travel, there may be things that are foreign to you or things having to do with higher education. Issues pertaining to philosophy, to law. You could have been undergoing a legal situation at this time. All of these things were up for review when all of these planets were retrograde. But starting last month, all three planets started going direct. We had Jupiter that went direct on September 12th. We have Saturn that went direct on September 29th. And then we have Pluto that just went direct on October 4th. So now that none of these planets are no longer retrograde, it's like full steam ahead. So we're going to experience a bit of chaos, particularly in those areas of your life. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing. I feel like before these planets went retrograde earlier in the year, I feel like that's when things were breaking down. That's when we were experiencing destruction. I feel like now that they've gone retrograde and now that they're all direct, I feel like now it's like cleanup time. I feel like things are going to be cleared. Cleared in the sense that they're cleared from your view. They're also cleared from your energy space so that we can start rebuilding. Although I feel like there are going to be some hiccups along the way, We're not out of the clear until at least January or February 2021. So until then, we're still going to be experiencing the energy of this great conjunction, especially now that Pluto has gone direct and they're all now going direct. So brace yourselves, stay alert, and try your best to navigate these uncertain times that we're in. I mean, we're all trying to do our best with all of this, right? So that's all I can really ask of you at this time. But keep moving forward. Even if you're met with resistance, keep moving forward. It's really important because, again, we're going to be entering this rebuilding phase. So that was Pluto having gone direct. Then we had last week, October 11th through October 17th, I feel like was the highlight of October because it was pretty intense and pretty enlightening, I think. We had the Sun in Libra square to the great conjunction in Capricorn. And I feel like it was last week that we were starting to see and understand why things were changing in our lives. And for some of us, what was changing in our lives. I think that we all got a certain dose of clarity last week with the Sun sort of shining its rays on this great conjunction. And for you, Taurus, that was happening between your 6th house of work and health and your 9th house of higher education and long distance travel. So I feel like when it comes to those areas of life, I feel like there was illumination for you. May have been illuminating a health issue. Things may be changing at a distance from you that could be affecting your health. Could also be affecting your work. If we're talking about higher education and work, there may be certain skills or certain ideologies that you need, that you're finally realizing that you need to have in order to do the work that you need to do. That's one way that could have played out. But regardless, I felt like last week was pretty illuminating. So again, take a look at what was going on last week. Try to sit back and think about what you learned last week or what became known to you last week. And I think you'll find that it vibes well with that astrology. And then smack dab in the middle of last week, we had Mercury going retrograde. And we all know Mercury retrograde is all about communication breaking down. It's all about cell phones like acting up. Modes of transportation having delays and upsets, miscommunications, misunderstandings. And Mercury is currently going retrograde in the sign of Scorpio. So Mercury is currently in Scorpio. And normally speaking, even when Mercury isn't retrograde, having Mercury in Scorpio is all about getting to the heart of the matter. It's all about uncovering the truth, especially emotionally speaking. Things that have been under the surface, finally talking about them, finally communicating, finally getting things off your chest and out in the open. That's what Mercury in Scorpio is about. But when Mercury is retrograde, you can do that, but you might be misunderstood. You might be misinterpreted. You might not find the right words to say to express how you really feel. And, that's how Mercury is going to be operating at least until November 3rd when it goes direct. So that being the case, Mercury retrograde for you, Taurus, was happening in your 7th house of relationships. So this is where you're going to find a little difficulty saying exactly what's on your mind, saying exactly what's in your heart, how you really feel. You may have misunderstandings and miscommunications with partners. Double check everything that you write, that you send out, particularly text messages or emails. Think before you speak because your words have the propensity to really hurt this time. They have the propensity to cut deeply, especially as it relates to your partners, whether that be romantic partners, spouses, business partners, and associates. So be mindful of what you say and just know that you might be misunderstood at this time. Someone may not really understand where you're coming from. Again, that's just Mercury retrograde shit. Once it goes direct on November 3rd, that's when I think that things will let up and you'll be able to communicate a lot better, particularly with your partners. Then at the end of last week, on October 16th, we had a new moon in Libra. That was happening for you in your 6th house as well. The Libra new moon was all about finding balance, particularly relationships and yourself. You need to find a balance for that. Taurus, since this was playing out in your 6th house of work and health, I feel like you need to particularly find the balance between people that you work with, could be clients, could be customers, could be coworkers, and yourself, particularly how you are of service to people. As much as you are of service to customers and clients and coworkers, you need to give that same level of service to yourself. And I feel like that's what the new moon in Libra was teaching us. So you may have had situations that came up with respect to work that were showing you where you had imbalance in life. It was also a super new moon, meaning that it held a lot of potent energy for new beginnings. So if there were any behavior patterns that you wanted to change, particularly as it relates to balancing yourself and others, this new moon was very potent and very good for that. Just know that any steps that you take in that direction, any steps that you take to balance things out might be met with resistance, because we still have the great conjunction going on, and that new moon was square to that. So any steps taken forward may have resulted in some resistance, delays, or roadblocks, but you still really have some great energy to work with respect to that new moon. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And as I'm filming this video, we're still under that energy. So even if you're watching this video today, just know that that energy is still available to you at this time. All right, and then we go into this week coming up. The biggest thing is that we have the sun moving into Scorpio on October 22nd. And for you, Taurus, that means that the sun is moving into your relationship sector, as Scorpio is your 7th house. So throughout Scorpio season, you guys are going to be focused on relationships, particularly getting to the truth of the matter in relationships. When it comes to relationships, you guys are all about substance. Generally speaking, Taurus, you approach relationships from a very deep place. If it's not substantive, y'all don't want it. Y'all aren't into flings or just very superficial relationships. You guys want substance. Y'all want meat when it comes to relationships. And that's where your focus and your energy is going to be directed. So that may mean taking stock of the relationships around you and being like, well, what is superficial, or what's really at the heart of this relationship? Let's say you have a business relationship with someone. Like, you really want to get to know this person. You want to get to know their motivations, why they're in this relationship. What do they have to offer? What are they bringing to the table? These are all things that are going to come into your consciousness when the sun moves into Scorpio. And then we end the month with a full moon in Taurus, your sign, on October 31st. So we've got a full moon on Halloween, which I think is really appropriate. But it's also going to be a very intense full moon, because it's going to be conjunct Uranus in Taurus as well. So the full moon being in your first house of self, there are things that you are uncovering about yourself, things about yourself that are going to be revealed under the light of the full moon that may be astonishing, that may be shocking, or that may just be, I feel like, being that Uranus is the sign of individuality, it's the sign of revolution, I feel like there's something radically new about yourself that you guys may discover under the light of the full moon. And again, I feel like it's going to be shocking. I feel like it's really going to deviate from the norm, but it's really going to shine a light on what you need to know about yourself that's going to help you move forward successfully. And that's how we end the month. So I feel like for Taurus, you guys are going to end the month on a very strong note. I feel like you guys are really going to know a lot about yourself. And that's going to help you move into Scorpio season as well, because when you know about yourself, now you can bring this newfound knowledge to the relationships that you've got around you. So it's sort of like this full moon, I feel like, is setting you up to position yourself well for Scorpio season. So that's the astro forecast for you guys, Taurus. Let's now get into the tarot and get some messages for the month of October. All right, so we're going to start out with the oracle cards for an overarching general message, and then we'll circle back in with the tarot for some more specific messages. So let's get into it. All right, Taurus, first card out is adversity. Don't know if you can see that too well. Adversity. It says, I accept that challenges are the best way to learn, and they really are. A lot can be born out of adversity if you allow it to. And adversity, when I hear challenges, I'm hearing Saturn. And that is happening in your 9th house. This is the great conjunction. I feel like you guys may be experiencing adversity when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to higher education. Some of you who are taking higher education courses, you guys may be taking upper level courses in college or university. I feel like things may be slow going, or you may be experiencing a lot of adversity. Perhaps you're not passing exams. Perhaps you're not getting a firm grasp of the information that you're learning. But again, adversity is one of the best teachers in life. And I feel like if you're able to get the lessons that this adversity is teaching you, you can expand very far. Very far. That's the thing with Saturn. A lot of people don't like Saturn because Saturn is a tough planet. Saturn is the planet of challenges. It's the planet of adversity. It's the planet of roadblocks. Because it's helping you grow. It's helping you develop, and you don't develop. The best sailors are made during storms. When you know how to weather a storm, you can handle any challenge that comes your way. And Saturn doesn't teach you without rewarding you. If you learn the lessons that Saturn throws at you, Saturn will give you a gift, and it'll give you a massive gift as well. But you got to go through the lessons. And a lot of people don't want to do that because it's hard. It's hard. A lot of times we just want to give up because you feel like you may be going in the wrong direction when you're met with adversity. And sometimes you are. Sometimes whatever you're doing, if you're constantly met with adversity or you're constantly met with roadblocks, maybe that's not the path you're supposed to go on. But 9 times out of 10, you are meant to be on that path. It's just meant to teach you a lot of things. You know, there's this phrase that I always like to say, and I'm like, you can't learn to swim by reading it in a book. You've got to jump in. And sometimes that may be learning how to swim. It's like learning not how to drown. Imagine you don't know how to swim and someone just throws you into a 20-foot pool. Not only are you scared, but you feel like you're going to sink. And what do you start doing? You start moving your hands and your feet in order to stay afloat. And actually, that's treading water. Treading water is like standing straight up in the water and paddling with your hands and your feet. That's how you learn. You learn to swim by learning not how to drown. And I feel like that lesson is what you guys are learning right now, Taurus. And you're learning it in a way that is, if it has to do with spirituality or religion, you're learning that in terms of faith. You may be put in a position that's making you have faith. Because you're going through so much adversity, all you can do is have faith. For others of you, if you are in university or college, you got to keep at it. There's something that these tests literally, exams literally, are here to teach you. And it's not just the subject matter you're learning. It's how to not give up, because these are lessons you're going to need later on. Whatever adversity you're experiencing right now, it's a tool that you're going to have in your toolbox because you're going to need that tool later, if that makes any sense. But let's keep going. Environment. And what number is this? 44. Environment. There's something about your heart chakra. Courage is what I'm hearing. You may be experiencing adversity and trials and tribulation because of what's going on around you. And I feel like it is meant to build up your courage, because you're going to face something later on where courage is going to be necessary. So you are learning how to develop your courage muscle. And I'm hearing David and Goliath. There's a bigger battle that you are going to have to fight later on. And when you get to that battle, that's not going to be the time to learn how to get courage. You're going to need to be courageous. And you need to learn that right now. That's why you're going through this adversity. We've got a change in the wind. And what number is this? This is 12. Yeah, things in your immediate environment, or even things, because this great conjunction is happening in your 9th house. And 9th house is all about things that are foreign to you, things that are at a distance from you. It's not your immediate environment that's changing. It could be the fact that the world is changing right now, but it's something that's changing that is at a distance from you, away from you, that is throwing a monkey wrench in your plans. That's where this adversity is coming from. And for some of you, I feel like it is really scaring you in a sense, and that's why you need to be courageous. Ninth house is also ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is about expansion. Whatever it is, this adversity, it scares you because it's so large. It's so large. Some of you, I'm hearing, back to this college university thing, it's like the institution itself. I don't know if some of you you're in fear of you like failing out or being reprimanded by the actual college or university. But that's what I'm hearing also. Some of you may feel like you need to change schools and go in a different direction, maybe even change majors. Yeah, it's something about the institution. It's an institution, maybe having to do with law also. The institution of law, courts, that is providing this really hostile or fearful environment, and is providing a lot of adversity for you. But again, the point of this is to develop your courage muscles because you're going to need it later on. We've got communicate clearly. Okay, if you guys are in a legal battle, if you guys have like, I see like some of you going in front of a board. Maybe it's an academic board. Maybe it's a church or religion board. There's something about an institution that's like coming down hard on you guys right now. If you are going before any board, communication is, you need to communicate clearly, and you need to communicate from the heart. Remember I said Mercury is in Scorpio right now. It's communicating from your heart, from your emotions, from your soul even. You need to be authentic. You need to speak your truth. Taurus, you guys are ruled by the throat chakra. It's time for you to speak your truth. It's time. David and Goliath is what I keep hearing. It's like you guys are going up against something great. But have courage. David won that battle with a slingshot. He slayed a monster with a slingshot. And that's what you guys need to remember. You guys are David. You guys are David. And I don't care how afraid you are. Know that you will win. And there's so much to be gained from this particular situation that you're going in. I don't care if you're up against an institution. I don't care if you're up against a church, a religion, whatever you're up against, you, Taurus, are going to be victorious. But you gotta work on your courage. We have connection. Interesting. What number is this? 4 and 1 is 5. Yeah, it is your connection to this institution that is changing. And I feel like there's a connection that's at a distance from you that's like giving you courage. Like if you are away at school, I feel like there's someone back home who is like a source of courage for you, or is going to help you develop your courage. Someone close to you. Someone close to you is very beneficial right now. They are like your source of courage. They may be giving you a lot of encouraging. Someone at a distance from you, someone back home may be encouraging you. Someone has encouraging words to tell you that's going to give you the courage to fight this fight, to slay this monster. All right, let's get some more messages here for Taurus. Okay, this one wants to come out too. We've got the Fool. We've got 8 of Pentacles. And we've got 10 of Swords. All right, so there is a new beginning. This change in the wind, some of you are going in a completely new direction. But You are being called to have faith right now. Like, I feel like things are really transforming in your life. Some of you, like, you are either going to medical school or you're going to change schools or just leave the medical school. But I feel like this message applies to someone who is involved in medical school or like going up against the medical board or something of that nature. But you're being thrust into a completely different direction. But whatever direction you're being thrust into, it's like, it's good. If you're being turned in a different direction, just know that you're called to have faith right now. But whatever direction you're being thrust into right now is better. Just have faith. And like I said before, just keep doing what you're doing. Even if you're having difficulty in college or university, you're failing exams, don't give up. Don't give up. Keep working. Keep swimming. Just keep swimming is what I'm hearing. A lot of you, there could be a legal situation that has left some of you heartbroken. Some of you may have been involved in law and now you're going to go in a completely different direction. Others of you, it's like religion. I'm seeing like changing faiths or walking away from a particular religious sect because you experienced a lot of heartbreak where you were. That's why there's a change in the wind, because you weren't meant to stay where you were. And now you're being thrust in a completely different direction, which is better for you. Yeah, we've got 10 of Cups, and this is right under the Fool card. So whatever direction you're being thrust into, it's like going to fulfill you emotionally. Super, this is the best. When it comes to emotions, this is the best card in the deck. You are going to be so emotionally fulfilled where you are going. Okay. We've got Queen of Pentacles. I feel like this is you showing up to your reading. And we've got the Hermit. I definitely see you guys walking away from a large institution, whether that be religion, whether it be law, whether it be medicine, or like you may just be transitioning into a different sector of those things. But you had to walk away because you were so heartbroken from whatever transpired. And I feel like time alone, time in isolation will be beneficial to you. Some of you may be connected to a Virgo or a Capricorn. Remember I said before, there's someone who is a source of encouragement. They're giving you encouragement. This person may be a Virgo or a Capricorn, but they're definitely an earth sign. Definitely seeing Virgo here. That may be me. I'm a Virgo, and hopefully these words are encouraging to you, to give you courage, but could be another Virgo. You know, I'll concede to that. But I feel like some of you are isolating. You've entered the cave. And by entering the cave, you guys have gotten a lot of enlightenment and the courage to walk away from something. Again, I'm getting like a large institution. And at the bottom of the deck, we've got the Tower. I feel like to a certain extent, the institution that you are walking away from is crumbling in and of itself. Like, it's not stable. Or there's a complete breakdown of your religious beliefs. There's a complete breakdown of a legal situation. But regardless, whatever you're being moved toward is very beneficial. It's going to be extremely emotionally fulfilling for you. You're moving in the right direction. Just know that. All right, let's get one on the Fool. We've got child. This is newness. So yes, you're moving in a completely new direction, which is, and look at the look on this child's face. It's like contentment. It's contentment. It's childlike wonder. It's good. Let's just say that. It's good and it feels good. This new direction that you're headed into. Let's get one on this Eight of Pentacles. We've got wealthy man. I feel like the work that you're putting towards, remember I said keep swimming, keep working. It's going to pay off. It's definitely going to pay off. Whatever direction you're going in is going to be lucrative. I'll just leave that there. It's going to be lucrative. Let's get one on the Ten of Swords. Yeah, we've got bad health. Whatever direction you're coming from, it wasn't good. And I don't feel like it was just you. I feel like the institution, the whole thing itself just was bad health. I'm hearing plagued. This institution, this large thing was plagued with bad health. That's why you couldn't stay there. That's why you are being directed to a completely new direction, because it was, I'm hearing like a cesspool. Like it was just dirty. It was bad health. It wasn't good for you. That's why you're going in a new direction. I already know what Ten of Cups is. Let's get one on this Queen of Pentacles. We got two. I'll put one on the Hermit and one on the Queen of Pentacles. We've got marriage. So this person that you're connected to that's giving you encouragement, you could be married to them. I also feel like for some of you, this direction that you're going towards, you're really going to be committed to it. It's going to be, there's commitment there. There's stability there. Some of you, I don't think this has to do with actual marriage. I feel like it's a commitment to this new direction that you're moving in that's going to leave you very emotionally satisfied, very happy. And then we got one on the Hermit. Distant horizons. I feel like you really distanced yourself from this institution. For some of you, it's law. For some of you, it's medicine. For some of you, it's religion. You've really distanced yourselves. I feel like you were really anchored to whatever this was. And it's like you pulled up, just like this card. You pulled up the anchor and sailed away. And went off on your own. Some of you, you may be deciding to open up your own thing. I'm hearing maybe it's a law practice. Maybe it's a medical practice. Maybe it's your own form of spiritual. Maybe it's your own church for some of you. But you uprooted, you lifted up that anchor and you sailed away from this large institution. Yeah, wherever you're going, you are going to love it. I don't think this means an actual romantic relationship. I feel like this new direction is going, like you're going to have a love affair with what you're doing. Whatever this new thing that you're doing, whatever the new direction you're going in, you're going to be in love with it, Taurus. That's the gift of Saturn that I was talking about. That adversity that you went through, as long as you did the work, right? As long as you worked towards what it is, you're being thrust in a new direction and you're working towards that new thing, whatever it is. Saturn is going to reward you. All of that adversity you went through is not in vain. I feel like now you're going to have stability and you're going to be in a place that you are in love with. That's the gift that Saturn is imparting on you. All right, let's get 3 astrology cards to close out this reading. For Taurus for October 2020. All right, we've got Mercury. Again, Mercury right now is in Scorpio, which is in your 7th house of relationships. And then we've got 5th house. 5th house for you is Virgo. Again, remember I said there may be a person that you are connected to that likely may be an earth sign. And I said particularly Virgo. This may be someone that you are romantically involved in. For some of you, it's someone that you are married to. You could be married to a Virgo, but I feel like there's a Virgo that is encouraging you right now. Let's get one last card here. All right, we've got Mars. Mars is currently in your 12th house. So remember I said you're being pushed in a new direction. And all of that is happening behind the scenes. You may be doing a lot of work right now and you have no idea where you're going. But know that you're being pushed in a direction that you will love. You're just not aware of it right now. And I feel like that is what Mars is doing. And being in your 12th house, you're not aware of it right now. But once Mars goes direct on November 13th, you're going to start, it's going to ramp up. And I feel like you're going to become very clear about which direction that you're going in. And again, that's when Mars goes direct on November 13th. But again, Taurus, this is David and Goliath, and you are David. Have the courage. Listen to encouraging words from some that you are connected to. If you do the work, you'll know that this adversity was not in vain. And I feel like Saturn is going to give you a great gift, a gift of being put in the right place that you absolutely love. All right, Taurus, that has been your October 2020 Astro Forecast and Tarot Scope. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important message from this reading. If you would like to schedule a reading with me or order an astrology report, those links are in the description box below. This month, throughout the month of October, I'm offering a special on my Messages from Spirit tarot readings. Those are only $20. Throughout October, I'm telling you, it's a steal. And clients love those readings because rather than ask a question or because sometimes clients are like, well, I don't know what to ask, or they feel like their question may not be important enough to ask. Rather than ask a question, you just let Spirit tell you exactly what you need to know at this point in time. Clients love it. And like I said before, throughout the month of October, those readings are only $20. It's really a steal. So I'll put that link in the description box as well so you can order one of those right away. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Divine Feminine Works. Every week I do a series called The Week Ahead where I do a quick and dirty tarot read as well as a quick and dirty astro forecast for the upcoming week. I also have some really great content on my Instagram, so follow me there so you don't miss that. As always, everything I do is a labor of love and comes straight from the bottom of my heart. If you feel so inclined, Taurus, and would like to tip me by buying me a coffee, that link is in the description box as well. Taurus, my loves, as always, it is a privilege and an honor to read for you. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.